South Africa's unemployment rate is at 27.1%, and those are the people who are still looking for work. The number goes higher when you add those who've given up. But having a job means you have a skill to sell. We have a chronic shortage in this country. So where will the jobs come from? To do what? Let's get started. Good evening and welcome to the Democracy Gauge. I'm Bongani Bingwa. In less than a month, you and I will go to the polls to cast our vote, deciding who should lead our government. On this show, we take the politicians out of the equation and we focus on you. What affects you? What has your life been like over the last 25 years? So today we're focusing on jobs. How did we get to such a high unemployment rate? Is it government's fault? The private sector maybe? Is there a lack of industry-specific qualifications? And that's why we're asking our poll question tonight. Will we win the fight against joblessness? You choose from our standard three colors. Green is for yes, yellow is for maybe, red is for no. Of course, you can send us a WhatsApp video to 065-862-4548. Tell us what you think, what your experience is, your name and where you are, and try and keep it under 30 seconds. Of course, our poll, you can interact with it on SABCnews.com. We extend the conversation to Facebook and Twitter. Remember our hashtags, there they are on your screen, SABC DG25 and SABC News. Now, the Eastern Cape, where I'm originally from, is one of the provinces with the highest unemployment levels in South Africa. Now, this contributes greatly to poverty. Women and the youth are the worst affected. Our reporter Zimkhita Macingwane joins us now from Viedgesville in the Eastern Cape, just outside Mthatha, where she's joined by women who sell scrap metal for a living. Zimkhita, good evening to you. I mean, we can see the scrap metal in the shot there. What's the situation like on the ground? How are women there using innovative ways to create employment for themselves?
A very good evening and a warm welcome to the Eastern Cape, Bongani. As you can see there, a group of women who have been waiting for almost 2 weeks now, waiting for any truck that might come on the N2 between Viedgesville and Mthatha and give them a lift to KZN where they sell their scrap metal. They have been doing this for the past 5 years. They started in 2013 collecting scrap metal from the rural villages of the Eastern Cape. They stand near the N2 road waiting for trucks that might give them a lift and to go and sell their scrap metal to make some money for their families. This is part of the Viedgesville initiative where people are encouraged to do something for themselves to try and alleviate poverty in their families and create employment for themselves. However, Bongwani, there are a lot of challenges that these women face. Now we're just going to speak to them and hear how they have been holding on for the past 5 years here on the streets. Mama, iziveki ezimbini nilindile apha nizawuthengisa kanti basele nje baniqokelela phi niqokelela ntoni kunzima kangakanani uziqokelela lezi zinto?
Kunzima kakhulu, siyaqokelela apha kulomzi wakungqala siphume siyotshwa ngasemqanduli siqokelela amazinki needoti zedrink nozotywala nekhopha yonke into esithatha nebhafu ezindala siphume ugqiba kwethu siyazibopha endlini sisikhathe izinto ngamazi asizozibeka apha endlini pha endlini sisuka nge300 izosibeka apha estophini sakufika apha estophini siyakhwela sifumane lo truck ethe sayifumana sikhwele nge500 yosibeka eKZN.
Urhulumente kule minyaka emihlanu nisenza lo msebenzi woqokelela ezintsimbi nezinkcenkce, loluphi uncedo anike lona?
Akhange kubekho ncedo silufumanayo, oko sihlala sityiwa ngamaqhwa sityiwa nazimvula apha ethafeni, akho nto sincedo silufumanayo kuba saye sabona uba masenze sivuke sizenzele kunoba sibe into zabantu.
Okay, well, she's basically saying that they have been doing this for a number of years. They have to pay for transportation to take the scrap metal from the different villages to park here. And now they have been waiting for 2 weeks. Nihleli iveki ezimbini mama. Nilinde ntoni ezawuthi qephi? Ingaba nine truck mhlawumbi enithembileyo okanye nikhwela kwa truck ethi qe?
Sikhwela ka truck ethi qe sisi, ayikho sithembileyo.
Akunetha nenza kanjani?
akuneta sisibekele inathi kwaqhithi ezuzibona silale phansi kwaso
namhlanje nizawulala
lapha namhlanje baziveki zijusi lapha
masithethe ngengeniso eniyenzayo apha ingaba okuqokelela ezitoti kuyanincumisa xa senithengisile ingeniso eniyenzayo
hayi sisikuyazincumisa kakhulu akufani nohlala
ungathini kumuntu ongaphangeliyo ohleli kwakhe ongenamsebenzi xa umcebisa wena njengomuntu uvuke wazenzela into uthi mabathini abantu bangaphangeliyo
kudala sibacebisa ithi makeze sochole izitoti basiyezula senaphi sochole izitoti abeziki kodwa ke thina sinyamezela bangenimini uthi kuzosinceda.
Well, Bongani, they are saying that it's been years. They have been soldiering on, picking up scrap metal from different villages of the Eastern Cape, trying to get any truck to take their scrap metal to KZN where they sell it. It's tough for them, but they are encouraging other women not to just sit back and wait for government to bring something to them, but however, to start doing something to try and bring food to their tables. But now we're going to speak to the Rural Economic Development and Planning Director from the OR Tambo District Municipality, who's just going to tell us about recycling. These are women who are recycling things from their rural villages, trying to earn a living. They are saying that as government, you have not assisted them. Why is it like that?
Thank you, Zimkhita. Currently, the program that we are doing as a district municipality, we have established buyback centers where we collect waste. But the facilities that we have, due to the minute budget that we have, we are only collecting paper, plastic, glass, and aluminium cans. So the facilities have been established and the rural people and women are taking their waste there to be bought from, and they get money every week from selling their waste that they have collected from their households. Now that type of waste is more of an ongoing and sustainable type of waste that is not very much seasonal. Now when it comes to scrap metal, the district municipality has not yet entered the space of the scrap metal. We appreciate that the women have identified a market for themselves where they can also make money, but currently we are looking at the broad district in terms of the household waste where we are collecting all the different kinds of waste.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. Well, there you have it, Bongani. Another issue that is affecting unemployment here in the Eastern Cape is illiteracy, but when we come back, we will be speaking to graduates who have qualifications but are looking for jobs and waiting for something to happen and for them to be employed. And for now, it's back to in Johannesburg.
Well, thank you, Zimkhita. Waiting for something to happen. Well, joining our conversation now is Duma Gubule, who's the founder of the Center for Economic Development and Transformation. He joins us now in the studio. Duma, very good evening to you. Thank you so much for making the time to talk to us on the Democracy Gauge. You saw the insert, you saw the conversation that Zimkhita is having with those women in the Eastern Cape who face the elements, there's no assistance, yet they're trying to do something to help themselves. And that's a story that's just all too common throughout the rest of the country, isn't it?
Yes, it was a heartbreaking story, Bongani. My father's side of the family is from the Eastern Cape, so I can understand the pain that they're in. And if you look at the official statistics and you look at the expanded definition of employment, which is more realistic, I believe, the unemployment rate in the Eastern Cape is 47%. That's the highest of any province in the country. And we are facing a national crisis. And I'm very amazed that if you look at our government, there is no plan to get us out of the situation of unemployment. And if you look at the other political parties, I haven't seen concrete plans as we approach the elections as to what can we do in the short term to get us out of the situation.
There are a multiplicity of factors that contribute to where we find ourselves. I mean, we can talk about the education system, we can talk about mistakes that have been made in the last 25 years. But as you say, there are no, at least as far as you can tell, immediate plans to fix the situation. So what do we do? Do we accept it? I mean, we surely can't afford a restless population that is unemployable. That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it's a recipe for disaster. It's a national crisis. Just allow me to go back a bit. And we're celebrating 25 years of our democracy. Yeah. So there's three phases in terms of our post-apartheid economy. Between 1996 to 2003, we had like what's called the gear policy. Yeah. And it was a slash and burn cut spending, to reduce the debt and high interest rates. And our growth was about 2.6% a year, and in per capita terms, per person, it was 0.9% a year. And unemployment doubled, the expanded definition, from 4 million to 8 million people. Now, when the gear policy ended and government started spending again, there was a massive decrease in interest rates in the early 2000s, and also there was a massive increase in government spending on infrastructure and so forth. And so what you saw is that the economy between 2004 and 2008 created 2 million jobs. The jobs that we created were broad-based across all sectors except mining and agriculture. So unemployment rate came down to about, the official rate came to about 21%.
Sure.
And so what the problem is that we're currently facing is that for the past 10 years, our economy has not grown. Yeah.
Well, the government will always talk about 2008, the financial crisis.
Yes.
We had a commodities boom, and that's why they were able to do all the things they were able to in the years you've mentioned. It's been a downturn since then. So again, what do we do?
Yes, so our economy has done nothing for the last 10 years. In per capita terms, it's grown by 0.2% a year. So what we should be looking at is to see how did we manage to create 2 million jobs between 2004 and 2008.
They'll say that the global factors that allowed that are very different from what we're seeing today.
Yes, but what happened then, as I said just now, it was a domestic-led recovery. It had nothing to do with global factors. The commodity crisis, the mining was one of only two sectors that did not create jobs during that boom. And the GDP from mining went down during that boom. So what I'm trying to say, it was a domestic-driven...
Are we sitting on the money? Is that what you're saying?
No, we're not sitting on the money. So basically what's happened is that since 2014, our interest rates have started increasing, and the government spending has started going down. So that is what's caused a renewed downturn in our economy. So
let's, if I may come in, look at the broader picture. People will say 25 years of democracy, 25 years of freedom. There's very little for many people in this country by way of a dividend in terms of changed realities materially.
100%. Let's look at unemployment. For black Africans, the unemployment rate is 41%. The number of unemployed people is 9.7 million. That is staggering. Poverty levels, 55% of our population is poor, living in poverty. That's 30.4 million people. And in terms of inequality, we're now back to the highest and most unequal country in the world.
The major contentious issue, I think many would say, for this election is the issue of the land.
Yes.
Is the direction we are taking on that going to be the panacea for our pain?
Bongani, I support radical land reform, but it's not going to solve the unemployment crisis now. We need to come up with creative means to solve this unemployment crisis now.
Do we have the gumption to do so?
No, we don't have the gumption. If you look at the government, basically what we've had between 2015 and 2018, government spending on infrastructure has gone down by 18%. The spending by state-owned companies has gone down by 26%. So what you're having is that there is no... The government is on a public sector investment strike.
The cupboards are threadbare. We see what Eskom is demanding. There's various SOEs that are demanding money from the fiscus. The money isn't there, they'll argue. Well, if we're creative, I believe that we can come up with solutions, All
right,
we'll have to leave it there. Duma Kubula, thank you very much for being a part of the Democracy Gauge this afternoon. Well, there's the picture. It's a pretty bleak one, I'm afraid. We're asking you, of course, will we win the fight against joblessness? You've heard what the experts are saying. You've heard what people on the ground are feeling and living. Green is yes, yellow maybe, red is no. Send us a WhatsApp video to 065-862-4548. We'll share some of your views after this quick break.
We're explorers. We always have been. Endlessly curious, always looking for answers, for new frontiers, for new stories. Because that is who we are. From script to screen, from yelling action to taking you on a journey. Radio producers, script writers, on-air presenters, news reporters, sports analysts. We spend late nights creating captivating storylines and earlier mornings keeping you informed, educated, and entertained. For us, it's not a job, it's a calling. We do this and more because you do your part. SABC TV licenses, made possible by you.
It's not about xenophobia.
There are many issues of service delivery, housing, illegal mushrooming of structures.
They
are now starting to move to Sandton and to submit a memorandum.
You're not going with tires there. That's all. I will stop this march here.
When we're bending tires in the inner Alexandra, they kept quiet because now we are going where they report. That is why they are having a problem.
We feel really undermined and disrespected that he did not show up to listen to our grievances. He has grown a tendency of only serving the so-called white monopoly capital and has forgotten about black communities. Development must happen either or of all sides because we are equally Batu.
But the people here today are saying service delivery to us, we deserve it.
Get the facts first.
In 1994, I think was ons almal was ook baie excited geweest.
For South Africa, art was never a good thing.
From a footballing point of view, there was never a separation.
Get to the truth.
There's still some serious issues in South Africa.
Maar ek dink die regering kan regtig probeer om harder te werk om
die apartheid in Sutlile yalekezwa ke batho ba rena ba democracy batho ba batsho iseng makgowa.
See what it all really means.
Ek is geel want dit is die kleur in die verkeerslig wat vir jou sê wees versigtig.
I still give South Africa red.
We are somewhere in between.
We're giving our democracy a green for sure. We're very happy.
Democracy Gauge, weekdays at 5:30 on SABC News, Channel 404.
Welcome back. As we say, it's all about you here on the Democracy Gauge. Let's find out what people are saying on Facebook and Twitter, on social media. Wiseman says, all the hard work, sleepless nights and stress throughout varsity just to end up unemployed when you graduate is a painful and real situation. You end up asking yourself if all of this studying is really worth it. Since it's elections, we are being promised heaven and earth by the ANC. I'd say it's not the only party that's making those promises. And the issue of unemployed graduates is also a serious one we need to examine. Another view says, first we have to be honest with ourselves. We'll never all be employed, so we need plan B, which is self-employment. Most of South Africans have skills and God-given talent, but don't use it because of their egos. It's elections. Same sentiment, I imagine, being promised heaven and earth by the ANC. On Facebook, Max says, we need to be self-reliant and inventive with new skills and ways of creating employment rather than relying on the government to provide. That way we can alleviate unemployment. Some might say government needs to provide the conditions in which that sort of thinking can thrive and be rewarded. Landi says, if I have to answer this, I'm going to have to write a book. So in short, yes, we the people can. I suppose it's the sentiment of Vuka Uzenzele. All right, after this, we're going to hear more directly from you in terms of what you are thinking where you are. Well, the People's View, of course, allows you to engage with the show directly. We always ask you and we encourage you to send us WhatsApp videos. As soon as you see the poll open from even the previous day, start sending us your videos. We'll collate some of them and we'll be able to broadcast. So here are a few of them sent to 065-862-4548. Here's what people have been saying.
I think yes, you know, government institutions, they've got so many fleet. I mean, the fleet of government is very huge and it's been taken to private institutions to service such fleet. Instead of them taking the fleet to private individuals or these mechanics, they rather have their own mechanics that they can be able to take all this fleet. Just imagine how many jobs will they be able to create if they can be able to have their own garages that will be able to service their fleet.
Mina indzaba yemsebenzi angiboni kuyinto lengalunga manje namanje
ngoba kuningi lokusamele kulungise kuleli velethu leningizimu Afrika. Bantu labaningi kumele bathule umsebenzi uma ngabe bathi ihlobo labaningi bagraduateile bahlele emakhaya kepha abakhona ukuthola umsebenzi ngenxa yokuthi ufuna babe nesipiliyoni. So ngibuka ukuthi indzaba lenze vele.
With the current system, I say no. Our government need to invest more in business ideas. They need to go around South Africa looking for good business ideas which can be turned into a state project.
Right, if you want to be part of the People's View in our next show, you can send us a WhatsApp video to 065-862-4548. That's where you can talk to us directly. Keep your messages under 30 seconds. Tell us who you are and where you're from. At the end of this program, I'll throw forward to tomorrow's topic. Now, after the break, we go to Gezina to meet Mandla Hlachwayo. Stay tuned.
It's all things gangster and power in the kingdom of KwaMashu as two families immerse in the contradictory world of church and crime. Uzalo, weekdays at 8:30 p.m. on SABC 1. Mzansi, for sure.
When you put 5 girls against 5 guys, of course it's going to be lit.
Andile, what's the next challenge?
Witness all the fun, tension and laughs as we see how well friends know each other to win a luxury cruise. Join us as we bring the excitement every weekend at 6 p.m. only on SABC 1. Mzansi for sure.
It's not about xenophobia.
There are many issues of service delivery, housing, illegal mushrooming of structures.
They are now starting to move to Sandton to submit a memorandum.
You're not going with tires there. That's all. I will stop this march here.
When we were burning tires in the inner Alexandra, they kept quiet because now we are going where they report. That is why they are having a problem.
We feel really undermined and disrespected that he did not show up to listen to our grievances. He has grown a tendency of only serving the so-called white monopoly capital and has forgotten about black communities. Development must happen either or of all sides because we are equally Batu.
But the people here today are saying service delivery to us, we deserve it.
This is the SABC News Channel, independent and impartial.
When news happens around the world, we will bring it to you. We will keep you informed. Each day, every day, our news team digs deeper, getting all the facts to provide comprehensive reports to what's important to you. We cover all corners of the globe. SABC News, independent and impartial.
Welcome back. Now, as you know, throughout the show, we crisscross the country to speak to South Africans to find out their lived experience of the last 25 years. All those stories are on our website. Today, we're speaking to Mandla Hlachwayo, who's an experienced carpenter, and he's outside Gezina, just outside of the Pretoria CBD. Again, same story. He, with another group of men, wait patiently every day outside a hardware retailer, hoping to strike it lucky.
Isizathu sokwenza ukuthi kungabi nomsebenzi la sinabanye abantu bamaphandle nabafika la babheka thina ukuthi sidla kanjani siphila kanjani njengoba sihleli senabo baze bangene la kithi bafuna ukuphila njengathi ngasho ukuthi lengizuzile ukuthi yena ukhulumenti lo wethu lona uzamile kokuthi ufuna kokuthi thina lesingafundanga thina singasebenzi sibe nayo indlela yokuziphilisa kujika kungabi kanjalo sekube ngenye indlela sekusukela abanye labasuka emsebenzini beze bazongena la kithi ngokuphuma kwemathendara sebadla kundlula thina sebasithathela lesinkwa lebekathi uhulumeni uyasizama sona hayi ukuvota kwami ngo94 ngazizwa ngikhululekile ukuthi lento lebe ngiyibona ngoba kulokuningi lebe ngikubona ngesikhathi salaba amhlophe bekungangijabulisi ngathi lena meskini beza nenkululeko leza ukhona ukuthi sincede siphile kahle manje sekuba khona la sesingasaphili kahle sekuba nokudosa donselana khona sesingasaphili ngendlela efanele hayi kule minyaka yonke sesivote ngayo akukho ukuchangile uright wona lo mbuso wethu mara kukhona la unemaphutha khona udinga abantu bakhulume ukuthi bawufixe bawulungise kahle ukhona kubuya ube isimeni lesi right if sizozwana sihleli njengaloku ngihleli kufuneka kulungiswe le border gate kulungiswe nepolice yethu kulungise nabaphathi bema contract laba phethe inangizane ezemsebenzi yibo nje lekumele balungiswe nje lapho kungalungiswa yento lezo nepolice yethu for ngokuthi abantwana manje asenabo abantwana bagcwele estradini nama drugs estate ukuthi uye esikolweni uyobhema isango uyobhema ama drugs uzayithola phi futhi education khosena yabuyela estradini kufana nami ubaba wakhe.
Those are the real views of South Africans. Now, before we say goodbye, let's take a look at the results for today's poll. We've been asking the question, will we win the fight against joblessness? And there they are, 37% of you saying yes, maybe 17%. No remains the number, the majority of you that are unconvinced. So that's the picture for today. Now, for tomorrow's show, we are asking, do you care about climate change? That poll is now open. Again, you choose from our standard 3 colors: green, yes, yellow, maybe, red, no. And if you want to be part of the show, you can send us a WhatsApp video to 065-862-4548. Well, from Fortune and myself, as always, we thank you for watching. Until tomorrow, ubusuku benzolo. Good night.